yet another day, another dollar. Yes.
Hi.
Hello. It is so good to see you. I knew that I would get this to work some way, somehow.
I tried to use my iPad, but for some reason it just didn't want to behave itself. So,
Uh, Technology, it can be such a pain in the butt sometimes, you know?
yeah, I had to go with my phone. So,
That's what I'm having to do too. Sometimes it works easier than the old laptop, which the
yeah.
laptop just lags all the time. So, how are you doing on this lovely day? I know it's your day off.
I've just been working on the Symbolicus Volume 3 release. The company that was supposed to print up the lobby cards and everything, they screwed up. So now it was left in my hands to get everything taken care of. So it
Oh,
is what it is, unfortunately.
yeah. But you're busting your butt trying to get everything out there. That's for sure. My good
I'm
friend
trying.
Yijit Dark, yeah, you are. My good friend Yijit Dark says hi for you.
Hi, sweetie.
Say hi, Yijit. Oh yeah, he was really excited for today's interview, so I had to make sure he gets some shout out.
Yeah, I've
So,
I've been looking so forward to this.
oh, you and me both. So let's talk about some Symbolicus 3. What do we got coming down the pike with that?
Well, we have basically everything is in except for this screw up with the lobby card. Once I get that taken care of, I was hoping to get everything out today. Unfortunately, when you're doing everything yourself, you're kind of stuck at, having to deal with frustrations and stuff like that. But Monday is a for sure thing. I'm going to be getting all that stuff printed up tonight, and then just start mailing stuff out. I'm going to try to avoid even doing like a first and second and tertiary wave to mail things out. So I might end up breaking the bank just so I can get everybody their packages. So,
Oh, yeah, yeah, and I'm sure they all will appreciate it. I know that whenever I get mine, I know I'm going to be just ecstatic because I honestly, when I heard that I won, I jumped up and down, literally jumped up and down and like screamed out loud, and everybody's looking at me like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Oh, nothing. I just won something really awesome, and I never win anything."
that's the way it goes. There are people from different parts of the world that entered, and I know how difficult it is for people these days financially, and that was like regardless of if you win and you pay nothing. I take care of postage. I want to help everybody I possibly can when it comes to things like that. So yeah, I was like, oh, Matt, you got it. So
Oh, it was so cool. Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I was ecstatic. And just anything Symbolicus, I was just like, oh my God. Like, because I've seen the first two so far.
hmm
I still need to see part three, which the first two are just absolutely stunning.
yeah, they
I
are. They're
I
very good.
I wish more people would watch them.
It's the underground community is very small in some perspectives, even though the horror genre is very vast and big. And it's something that it's one of those gems that are out there that you have to seek out to find. That's the whole thing with doing limited edition releases, is that it becomes more and more obscure as things, move on in time. So it's very important that if you are a fan of the underground horror community, these anthologies are great ways to, discover new directors too. Like, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I had very little, if any, knowledge of like Christian Day, for which his piece in the Symbolicus Volume 3 um, release was absolutely phenomenal. Even Dixie Gears, her stuff was I absolutely loved. I mean that's quintessentially how a lot of times you find new directors, and from that point you start following them. Hopefully they've done stuff before doing an anthology. So that's just kind of like how things roll with anthologies. You got to invest in them if you're really a huge fan and are a big collector and things like that. So,
That is so so true. Yeah, because there are definitely some with volumes one and volumes two that I was completely new to, and
hmm
and and some of them, my gosh, they just absolutely blew me away. It's like,
oh,
where
absolutely.
have you been?
Yeah.
Like, where have you been all my life? You know,
Oh, yeah. I
which.
mean, uh, I didn't even. I mean, I heard of Jonathan Doe until I saw his piece on the Symbolicus release. I That was my first, you know, kind of uh, opportunity to see his work. So that right there was fantastic, and then I just followed the stuff from there. That's the whole premise behind anthologies. I think is if you can bring in new and unknown directors, and get people to really look at them and invest in them. I really think you're going to discover so many wonderful filmmakers out there just because of anthologies. So, I mean, I don't think I'll ever put an anthology together just because it takes me so long to put together a release. And when Symbolicus Volume 3 goes out, I mean, I don't even know where this harebrained idea was, is to do a specific release for each and every director. And doing one-off t-shirts is so expensive. It is I I love doing it, but if somebody's really wanting to invest time and money into it, if you have a regular job, put in overtime, because that's the only way you're gonna be able to try to come out on top without starving to death.
Oh, I can only imagine. So with everything that I've seen that you're putting into this release, it
hmm
is just by far it's going to be like the pinnacle release of Symbolicus by all means.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, it was, I'll be honest with you, even though it really kind of focuses a lot on myself. I have the help of Marcus Cook too, who has helped me along the way as well. He has been an intricate part in helping Embryo House go where it's going. I don't have, and I know he doesn't either, but I don't have a lot of opportunities to, break away from, where I work as an optometrist technician besides doing this on, outside of my regular job. And he has been such, a wonderful person to be there for, Embryo House and Embryo Pink, and just to really help me. And the company that has been really kind of, they and they've done prints for me. The buttons turned out unbelievable. I mean, I cannot believe in how gorgeous these buttons turned out. I'm just so ecstatic. There's going to be Embryo Pink buttons. They do stickers. They've done so much stuff. And at the end of the day, when these packages go out, I just hope and pray that people start showing other individuals on Facebook and Instagram and any other social media platform that Embryo House is, that's my love. That's my passion. I put every single bit of my time. I lose sleep just so I can get this stuff put together. So,
And you can really tell that you put a lot of love and passion in it.
thank
And
you.
when I get mine, I'm going to do a little video of it because I want to show it off and show off the cool shirt in
Yeah.
everything, because I feel like it's one of those pieces that it needs to be seen. It has to be shown.
Yeah, I
And
mean, people think that Latraced was such a, a fantastic release and it was so beautiful. I'm gonna tell you something. This release is it's topping what Latraced was. It is, I've gone too far with this one. I really have. I'm just kind of like, what am I doing? I
like,
mean,
what am
just
I
everything is just,
doing?
yeah, but I
And
still love it.
to Oh yeah, exactly, and it's what brings you back more and more every time, and until the next big release. I mean,
Uh,
I don't know
Good
what
old
happened.
Facebook.
I know it's like going to give us all the trouble in the world, but
This
even
this has got
the
it. This is so sad because I mean, you put so much effort into this, and you can bring people in, and then this happens, and then you're just completely cut off, and that's not fair to you at all.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. It's like all of a sudden the sound just went completely just kaput, but everything was working, but no sound. It was weird.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, it's bizarre, but we were in the middle of talking of Symbolicus, but we were also good. I was going to talk about
Yeah.
my next question, which is, out of your films, I got to see them this morning.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh, they are absolutely stunning and the most beautiful things I have seen in a while.
Thank
You
you.
are welcome. Out of everything you've worked on, what is your favorite film that you've worked on?
Wow, that's a good question. I'm gonna probably have to say that it's right now it's Latraced. I mean, that film was put together, to be honest with you, while I had COVID. So I had like 10 days and I filmed all of this material it and then it took me and I got COVID back in like the end of 2021 during
Ooh.
Christmas, and then I just sat on it for a while, and I didn't do anything with it, and then I started editing stuff together, and eventually it got released later on in May of 2020, or actually I put it together at the beginning of May 2022. So it just kind of sat there for a while. I didn't really know what to do with everything. I had just gotten done with the piece for Symbolicus Volume 3, and the idea just boop is like an epiphany. And I just started putting things together, and the idea just started pouring out of me, and I knew what I wanted to do with film. Being a massive fan of Cosmetropia design, and just being in love with Giallo and art house and abstract film, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with Embryo House and Embryo Pink, so I went for it. I mean, it did fantastic. Honestly, I was super touched by everyone's support, from all my APs that came forward. One of the biggest surprises for me was Scott Philip Jurgens, who stepped forward, who directed 29 Needles, and was an associate producer on it, for which was immensely touching to me because I am such a big fan of his work too. And then with Quality Violent Cinema coming forward and doing a premiere for me, for which was absolutely, just heartwarming to me because that was something that they hadn't done before, and I it I almost sold out everything before it even went for sale. Like I almost pre-ordered everything. So yeah,
Wow, that is
yeah,
amazing, and it
yeah.
is it is a phenomenal film. Like I wish I knew about it back then because I would have totally jumped on board with it. And the fact that Scott, of all people,
Mm-hmm.
I saw his name on there when I was watching through the credits, and I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, I rewound it back and was like, holy crap, Scott's a part of this. Like
Yeah, he did.
that is so impressive because he is a phenomenal
He
filmmaker.
is. And if I could ever figure out like what is it, IMBD,
Oh,
I would put all that stuff up there, but I don't know how to work that stuff. I can work editing programs and and all these other things, but when it comes to other stuff, I'm no savviness
oh,
whatsoever.
same here. I can figure out all kinds of things, but when it comes to some computer tech stuff, I am
Hmm.
like a bull in a china shop. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I get to a certain point, and I'm like, if I feel just that iota of frustration, I'm like, nope, I'm done. I'm not doing this
Yep,
anymore. I got other things to worry about right now than to try to finish out, figure this out. So yeah,
exactly,
but I mean, the
exactly.
the beauty of everything. I mean, the reviews were fantastic. I got a few reviews that, of course, weren't the greatest. And I'll be honest with you, at first I was a little hurt by it. But then I read a saying that, or actually, it was a statement that John Carpenter had said a long time ago. He said, if it wasn't for all the bad press and all the bad reviews, where would I be at today? Because it makes you relevant. So I bet that's thing. When he said that, I was like, yeah, okay, I'll take this. I mean, heck is that today? So
It, it's very, very true. It's one of those things that what is the saying? Bad publicity is still good publicity. You know. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
it
I,
still
I
gives.
remember Severed Cinema gave me a 2.
Oh, yeah, they might have gave
It's
you a two,
okay.
but some of the stuff I've seen them give the big thumbs up to, I'm just like, really, guys,
It's
come
all right.
on.
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm a to each their own kind of a gal. So it's like, I can't, my films aren't going to be like everybody's cup of tea. So, I mean, if I can reach certain people and they love it, I don't need all of everybody to like them. It's never going to happen that way. So realistically, why even think it? So, but it was okay. I'll take a 2.
Hey,
It
at least they looked
wasn't a
at it.
1.
At least they looked at it, and yeah, and it wasn't a
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Or they could have gave you a negative, I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, yeah. I'm sure that could have happened too.
but
And to be honest, working on all this stuff, like with the King James Bible anthology that's coming out, Daniel Valent has given me just the reins to go where I want to go with film, and being a co-director of this wonderful mastermind of his. Just being on this journey to see this thing come to fruition is absolutely fantastic. I'm elated to be part of it, you know. So I can't wait to see everybody's response when it comes to that too. I mean, I had my hands in on so many segments of the anthology that you'll start noticing a lot of my style shifting. It's still abstract, it's still art house, but it's getting to that point where it's combining a lot of other elements involved. I'm getting quite a bit more crafty with my style of filmmaking. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. And when I was asked by Daniel to do the intermission portion of it, we've combined a lot together. A lot of people, they're pretty aware of it because I'm fairly vocal about it. I'm very proud to be doing these projects with Daniel. I adore him to death, and despite the fact that a lot of people think his films are, over the top or what have you, I mean, again, to each their own. Everybody's going to have an opinion, but getting to know him and really being able to work, sort of side by side, pseudo side by side, I guess you could say. It's been absolutely so fun to do. And, I can't wait for people to finally get to have their hands, on the King James anthology, because I think this thing is going to go bonkers crazy. So,
I agree. I think it's going to be one of those just absolutely off the wall, like
yeah.
insanely just popular releases that I think it's going to probably sell out, and people are going to have to jump on over to where and get the second edition that's coming out in the future.
Uh, yeah. So once new film order gets, they release it and it has time to breathe and it has time to just kind of get out there and move around and get comfortable. Embryo House is going to be doing a very special limited release of the King James Bible as well. Um, I've got a lot of things planned. Once people get Symbolicus Volumes 3 in their hands and they think there's a lot of stuff with that one, just wait until this one comes out. This is going to have so many pieces into it. It's like a puzzle when I put these releases together. Everything has to fit together as a cohesive, you know, entity, if you will, for it to even leave my hands. I will not release anything that I feel is not good enough to be released. The film could be fantastic, but if the design for the release from Embryo House isn't good, it'll take me longer to get it done until I get it right, as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah, this thing is going to be cray cray.
Oh,
I just,
I
yeah.
I think yeah, I'm right there with you. It's one of those just from what you've shown me and you told me about it.
Hmm.
It's just like, oh my gosh, this is definitely something that I think that every collector, real like underground collector, is going to want.
Yeah,
And yeah,
absolutely.
it's going to be just absolutely something special. And everything that Daniel does is just absolutely
Yeah.
special. The guy is just, he's a sweetheart. I just love Daniel, like I have like the biggest man crush on him because he's so nice and so just genuine. It's like, you're the guy that cut off your pinky. How are you so nice and so darn genuine? Like, it's like I
He
just love.
sacrificed for the
He
arts. That's what he
he
does.
does, and I just admire the hell out of him.
Yeah,
He's just
he is something
he
else.
is he is just a real genuine trooper for the art, and
Absolutely.
yeah.
We can all learn something from him, I'll tell you that.
Oh, I agree. I completely agree. And I think we all can learn from you as well as
Oh, thank
on
you.
on on definitely the just the real art house style, like those that like films like Begotten. I think they would really get into your style very much, and I think that it like Latresse is just it's a masterpiece.
Well, a lot of people, the thing is that I think what happens with individuals that actually do finally get to witness the film, I think a lot of it gets lost within the symbolism of everything. It's a personal piece. I think if an individual knew me, they would kind of start to be able to put the pieces together. It's just like the same as with the short film I did for the Symbolicus release too, because that's what a lot of people probably don't realize is that's a part two to Latraced. and then the third piece will be coming out next year sometime. So yeah, and then everything will be combined together for, for another release sometime in 2025, as an entire full length piece, told in 3 chapters. And the concept of 3 chapters isn't, it's nothing new. And all of that. I mean, I challenge people sometimes when they're like, oh, I wish original. Well, mankind has been on this planet for well over 10,000 years plus. And think of a thought that nobody's ever thought of. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things. I feel like um to make something new and different in the world of cinema is going to be like not impossible but near impossible. So
Yeah.
I think that either way there's going to be, as much as I hate to use the term, there's going to be haters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I got my start um doing associate producing for
Oh,
Embryo House
oh,
films. Uh-oh.
yes, I
You're
remember.
frozen, but I can hear you. There
There
you are.
you are. I was going to say we froze there for a moment, but yes, I
Yeah.
remember the good old Baroque House days.
hmm
Yes,
Yeah, I did altogether, I believe 5 or 6 films I associate produced, and that's where I got everything started. Yeah, I got into doing that, and then started kind of looking at how the underground community, kind of works, like people releasing stuff. I watched how Tetro did, and how Cosmotropia released their stuff, and I just I'm a people watcher. I don't usually, I don't talk like this all the time. But I watch everything, I analyze it, and then that's when I started making the decision to do Embryo House and Embryo Pink. I figured that it was time to start getting things out there because that's my dream. And the support I've had from yourself and Daniel and many other people out there, it's been an absolute, you know, heartwarming thing to happen for me. I've only been in doing this Embryo House, Embryo Pink for a year. And yeah, it's just a little over a year now. And I'm just, I'm pleased as a peach to know that everything is, there's ups and downs and peaks and valleys. And if I keep my head together, then, yeah, we'll see where it goes. Who
exactly.
knows?
Exactly, and only the future will see what it brings. And I see nothing but great things, just from what you've been telling me. I think that it's going to be a great few years, for the next few years for Embryo House, Embryo Pink. I think it's going to
I
be
appreciate
really.
that. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, if I just keep going, the problem is it's topping yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always pushing that boundary, always pushing that envelope is always
Yeah.
the hardest part.
Well, I'm a very avid reader. I
Hmm.
read just as much as I watch horror films. And one of my most favorite publishing companies, they're called Olympia Press, and it originated in France. And just seeing, I've been always fascinated with the idea of creating a catalog that is exclusively to people that really love and that have a passion for an in particular thing. And reading about Olympia Press really just got me going again. I was just like, it got that drive back in me, and I just all I want to do is sit home and create these releases for the people that have been so supportive. But I also have to keep in mind, and this is kind of one of these philosophies that like you and I were talking this morning about it, and a lot of people wonder I get asked, like, how come Embryo House, Embryo Pink doesn't do a lot of releases? And it's because I'm just a firm believer then that saturating the market with a product, it 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 makes people kind of lose that want and that desire for something. And so, if I keep it kind of regular, but not so much where people feel like it's just a constant cash grab, um, then even if I never get to stop my day job and I continue to do this until my last breath on this beautiful, wonderful planet, I'm okay with that because I love doing what I'm doing, that's why I don't release a ton of stuff. I give myself that level of like tops 3 releases a year. And, I've got, a lot of people know like all wounds scream at once. That I'm so stoked for that release.
No, you and me both.
I've been in talks with David Stogans from New Film Order. Nothing's been set in stone, but I approached him about doing something for Embryo Pink. I'm still, working with Daniel Valen on material. We just did a piece that is right now sitting in limbo because we're not 100% sure where it's going to end up. But I'll tell you right now, if it doesn't end up anywhere, it's going to end up in Embryo Pink. So I'm putting together all the little bells and whistles and getting all my, T's and I's dotted and all that other shenanigans. um, I I started an old record label I used to run back in the early 2000s called Witch House Records. I started that back up so that I can start putting together soundtracks and getting other artists like Dr. Gloves and Daniel Valent's got an album coming out on Witch House Records. So I'm trying to bring in avenues for these creators that have more than just filmmaking on, in their hearts. They want to make music like Daniel, did, songs about car wrecks, volume 1. And I want the door to be open to anybody that wants to take an opportunity to create art on film or on, in music. And so I want this to be a home. That's why, there was Embryo Bauhaus is the concept of the old German art Bauhauses they used to have back in the early 1900s, where artists that weren't accepted by society can go in to, be amongst their peers and like-minded individuals to create artwork. That's the whole premise behind where Embryo Bauhaus came from. So, I'm trying to open that door up for people. And, if anybody wants the opportunity, and they make abstract art house films, I am I'm open to it, as I said as I said before, the only thing I will not do is comedies. I don't watch comedies, so
I was gonna say life gives us enough comedies as is. We don't need it. We don't need any more.
you got that right.
Well,
Yeah, so yeah.
we've been chattering on for over almost 40 minutes now. So I'm going to leave this with one last thing.
Yeah.
It is your chance to plug any last thing, any last one thing that you would love to promote or talk about. The platform is entirely yours.
Oh, oh boy, that's kind of putting me on the spot, isn't it?
Oh yeah. That's
Well,
the
I mean,
roughest thing I ever do to anybody on here.
I'll be honest with you. I want to just help people realize the importance of our community and the underground horror community. Support it, support one another. If one person is releasing something brand new, support it. Scum Video is an awesome new indie film company label, what have you, out there that's just released a brand new White Gardenia film. Support everybody because that's the only way our community thrives. If there's You know, there should be no room for elitists. There should be no room for people to hate on people wanting to part ways with their collection because of any reason. It shouldn't even matter why they decide to do it. But if we support one another, then we grow. And that's the way, I hate to put it this way, but that's the way harmony will balance itself out. You know, when the new come in, some of us, you know, older collectors should be like, hey, check this out. Hey, check that out. No question is dumb. We should all be supportive of one another. This world sucks. So why make our community suck? Support Unearthed Films. I mean, by golly, Stephen Byro he's an angel. I mean, the man has paved the way for all of us. And he may not say it because he's not a very boisterous individual, but at the same point in time, support them all because at the end of the day, we're in this together.
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't be hating, you know? So that's what I gotta say. Our community should be the most important thing to us. And then from there, films and love and holding each other up.
Wow. That is so well said and perfectly put. Wow. I agree 100% with you. If it wasn't for people like Stephen Biro and people like him, where would this community be? Because, you know,
Yeah.
Unearthed Films was one of my first forays into the underground
Same here.
way back, 20 years ago?
Yep.
However many, gosh, that's aging us, but that's okay.
Oh wow. I'm
Oh,
still
wow.
beautiful.
Exactly. You look fabulous.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure, Viv, and I hope
Nice,
that we get to
nice
do this
thing.
again. And
Thank you.
you're welcome. And you have a great rest of your night and a great rest
You
of
too,
your day
sweetie.
off.
You
All
as
right.
well.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.